From KPLR TV, Channel 11, the #1 independent news team in the country, with Don Clark, Hollis Phillips, Christine Buck with the weather, and John Sloan with sports. And now, NewsWatch.
Good evening. Welcome to NewsWatch. Here's what's happening. Coming up tonight, if you have lower back problems, Dr. Dina Dell has some very interesting advice for you.
And the Officer Family Funeral Home in East St. Louis is heavily damaged by fire. We'll have that story for you as well.
But our top story tonight, conflicting testimony is the order of the day in the ongoing Iran arms Contra-Aid scandal.
CIA Director William Casey went before a congressional panel again today to tell what he knew about the Iran arms Contra-Aid affair, when he knew it, and how he found out about it. Casey denied a published report that said he knew as early as last spring that profits from the arms sales were being secretly diverted to Nicaraguan rebels. But he did confirm a conversation last October with a New York businessman linking Canadian investors to the cash for the Contras operation. Bob Franken has more now from Capitol Hill.
Enter Roy Furmark, the latest figure in the Iran-Contra story. Furmark spent nearly 4 hours behind closed doors with the Senate Intelligence Committee. He is a former client of CIA Director William Casey, who spent 3 hours himself on Capitol Hill with the House Intelligence Committee. As he departed, Casey acknowledged his claim that Furmark was his first source of information about diversion of Iran arms sales money. Casey maintains he didn't know the funds went to the Contras until that disclosure from Attorney General Ed Meese in November.
He described this hopelessly complex and confusing network of financial relationships in which had resulted in apparently a group of Canadian investors becoming upset that they were not going to have some money repaid to them.
The Iran-Contra picture is described as a series of unconnected dots. According to Casey, Furmark contacted him to warn that the Canadians were planning to file a lawsuit because they hadn't received payment for the money they put up for Iran arms. Furmark was not only connected to Casey, but colleagues say he was a business associate of Saudi billionaire Adnan Khashoggi, himself identified as a middleman in the U.S.-Iranian arms deal. He was said to be upset about the funneling of money to the Contras. Khashoggi's biographer believes he concocted the story about Canadians to protect his identity while he tipped off Casey.
Well, Khashoggi had never contemplated this diversion of funds to the Contras in coming up with this whole plan. And I would think that that he was a little bit upset about it when he heard about it. He has wonderful sources, and that perhaps he gave Furmark the approval to go ahead and tell Casey about it.
Complicating all this even more is the fact that many in Congress don't believe that Casey only learned of the diversion of profits from the Iran arms sale in October. The reaction to his story is either that it's untrue or that it's incredible.
The president is trying to conduct business as usual despite another revelation made public today. According to a Washington Post report, Mr. Reagan broke with procedure in handling the Iran arms decision. A 1982 order made by the president himself dictated all major foreign policy decisions were to be in writing and circulated to the 8 members of the National Security Planning Group. When it came to the president's January decision to sell arms to Iran, 4 members were not notified. Secretary of State George Shultz, Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger, Secretary of the Treasury James Baker, and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff all opposed the sales. Those who were informed, Vice President George Bush, CIA Director William Casey, and then National Security Advisor John Poindexter.
A nationally syndicated television show saluting President Reagan on his 76th birthday has become a victim of all the fallout from the Iran arms affair. The distributor of that show says all the national advertisers backing the program, called Reagan's Way, have bowed out since the Iran scandal broke. A spokesman said all the advertisers wanted to disassociate themselves from the program, which would have traced Mr. Reagan's career from movies to his presidential inauguration. And unless some major advertisers come forward before February 6th, the president's birthday, Reagan's Way will never see the light of day.
Bad news tonight for Eugene Hassenfuss. It looks like he's going to have to serve his 30-year sentence in a Nicaraguan jail. Earlier today, a revolutionary appeals court upheld the sentence given the American pilot last month. Hassenfuss, as you'll recall, was convicted for his role in airlifting supplies to the Contra rebels in that country. This now exhausts Hassenfuss's legal appeals. The only thing left is asking for a pardon. That would have to come from the president of Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega.
The small town of Mount Pleasant, Iowa, is still in a state of shock tonight following the murder of their popular mayor. Flags flew at half-mast today as somber residents comforted each other or talked about the slaying. Mayor Edward King was fatally shot and 2 city council members were seriously wounded during a council meeting last night. The alleged gunman, described by one neighbor as an oddball, had reportedly complained to the council twice before about a backed-up sewer. 69-year-old Ralph Davis has been charged with murder and attempted murder and is tonight being held on $700,000 bond.
Coming up next on NewsWatch, one of the oldest businesses in East St. Louis is heavily damaged by fire. We'll tell you about it.
And there was another school bus accident today. We'll have that story for you as well.
And Christine Buck is here, of course, with all the latest weather information.
And a weak cold front is headed our way, so expect more clouds and colder temperatures.
All right, we'll have all this and much more when we come back.
So you stay right here with us.
In news affecting the local area across the river, arson is not being suspected as the cause of an early morning fire that destroyed the home of East St. Louis Mayor Carl Officer's parents. Still smoldering hours later, the blaze is suspected to have been caused by a malfunctioning furnace. The fire broke out about 2 a.m., heavily damaging the Officer funeral home and the family's residence on the second floor. No one was injured in the fire. Marion and Myrtle Officer and an employee escaped safely. About a half dozen bodies awaiting burial by the home were transferred to the officer's mortuary in North St. Louis. At a press conference this afternoon, Mayor Officer said the family business would continue to operate.
9 school children ranging in age from 7 to 12 years old were shaken up today in a freak bus accident. The children were on their way to Green Trails Elementary School about 7:30 this morning when a stolen car forced the bus off the road and into a nearby house. The accident occurred in North St. Louis. Police are searching for 2 men who abandoned the stolen car after ramming the bus. The children were on their way to the county as part of the area desegregation plan.
$98 a week? Doesn't sound like a lot? Well, that's how much the average take-home pay is for area janitors. That according to their union. The Service Employees International Union is trying to get better wages for its members. With that in mind, a rally was held downtown today to promote a 3-year pay hike from the current $3.60 an hour to $5.10 an hour. The union is negotiating with about a dozen cleaning companies to hammer out a new contract before the old one expires December 31st.
Is the St. Louis riverfront regaining one of its prime attractions, only to lose another? The Admiral will soon open its doors after a lengthy renovation, but the future of the Goldenrod showboat is now up in the air. The boat's co-owner, John Auble, confirms that preliminary discussions have been held with Louisville, Kentucky about selling the Goldenrod to that city. Auble says he fears his National Historic Landmark could be hurt by competition from the Admiral, which will have 2 theaters similar to the one on the Goldenrod.
Well, both of them have a place down there on the riverfront. What do you say we try to save them both?
That sounds like a great idea.
Good. Let's do it.
That sounds like it. What about weather here? Let's move on. What are we looking at tomorrow?
Well, lots of sunshine today, and we reached a high of 44 degrees. And you probably didn't think that was going to happen when I told you we'd see a high of 40 degrees today.
Very pleasant.
When you said it, we believed it. Definitely.
We always do.
Oh,
We always do. Very pleasant.
Well, lots of sunshine. It was a nice day, a little on the cool side, but the sunshine helped. Not sunshine tomorrow. We'll have a few clouds. In fact, right now we have clear skies, but cloudy skies by the end of tonight. The temperature is 33 degrees, although it feels like 20 degrees because the winds are out of the west at 10 miles an hour. The humidity is 72% and the barometer is holding steady. The high today, a pleasant 44 degrees, and the morning low, a cold 18 degrees. And across the 2-state region, we are generally right around the freezing mark. It is 33 degrees in St. Louis, 36 degrees in Kansas City, and down at the Cape, it's actually 32 degrees right now, quite cool there, and 29 degrees in Chicago for the coldest reading across Missouri and Illinois at this hour. The clouds, as you can see, are confined to the northwest and then to the south of us and all along the east coast. We have clear skies in St. Louis now, but we do have some clouds to the north of us, and a closer look shows that they are poised just to the north of us in northwest Missouri, pushing in from Nebraska and parts of Kansas. They will continue to move to the south, and they're associated with a weak cold front. So we're expecting increasing cloudiness tonight, cloudy skies tomorrow, and perhaps cloudy skies on Saturday until high pressure starts to build into the area once again. But as far as precipitation goes, not a lot of precip across the country tonight, and none for us, as you can see. Well to the west of us in the Pacific Northwest, a little bit of snow and sleet and freezing rain, and a combination of those 3 things along the east coast tonight. But that precipitation is expected to move out to sea, and then to the south of us in parts of Texas, again, some rain and along the Gulf Coast. But no precipitation in our area. In fact, the cold front that is pushing through is carrying mostly dry air and slightly cooler air. So we are expecting cooler temperatures tomorrow and some clouds, but we're not expecting any rain or no snow because it will not be cold. And by tomorrow night this time, that cold front will be well to the south of us, so partly sunny day tomorrow. And as you can see, as far as temperatures go, we're going to fall back into the 30s, somewhere in the mid-30s, perhaps 35 degrees to the north of us, the cooler temperatures, of course, and then a small area of 80-degree readings in parts of southern Florida. The overnight low for us, 25 degrees, a little bit warmer than last night. The winds out of the northwest and cloudy skies by morning. And then tomorrow, we're calling for increasing cloudiness. It should not say sunny, with the high temperature 35 degrees, and the low will be falling down into the 20s. And the extended forecast calls for Friday. We're calling for cloudy skies with the high of 35 to 37 degrees, or rather Saturday, December 13th. I'm getting my days mixed up. But nonetheless, we'll have cloudy skies, and high pressure should build into the area on Saturday, and therefore the clouds will start to move away.
All right. Well, we've been fairly lucky with our weather recently
Really?
Here.
We do have this cold front moving through, but again, no precipitation is expected.
That's
Hollis,
right.
do you think maybe we'd like to...
Speaking of luck,
Before we do that,
Thursday rings a bell.
Let's thank Christine for the
Oh.
for the load of chocolate chip cookies she baked for the newsroom
Can this
today.
woman bake a batch of chocolate chip cookies?
That was just
That's
so
right.
cute.
I'll pay for it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And now you were talking about
Yes,
luck
luck.
before, right?
That's right. We got
well,
lucky with
today is Thursday, and as you know, that's the day the Missouri Lottery Weekly Jackpot game is played in the studios of KPLR TV. All 7 contestants in today's spin failed to win the record $6.1 million grand prize. One person did come close. Wanda Jackson of Springfield won $25,000. Other people won smaller prizes, but because no one hit the jackpot, the grand prize for next week's spin now grows to more than $6.2 million. And here are the names of the people who will spin the wheel and hope to win a fortune. Here we go. Robert Pamato of Girard, Gary Williams of Chesterfield, and Don Bailey of Independence, Carl Fleischman of Rolla, and Cleopatra Quaylar of St. Louis. All right, Elnora Johnson of Smithville, Catherine Rhodes of Herman, and Sandy Dale of Kansas City. And don't you forget, you can catch all the exciting lottery action next Thursday right here on Channel 11 at 5:58 p.m. and then again during our newscast. We begin at 9:30. And still to come on NewsWatch, we'll have some good news on the economy just for you.
And if you have lower back problems, our medical report tonight is just for you. We'll have that when we come back.
So you stay right here with us.
In tonight's medical news, ever since foreign cars hit the American scene, a debate has raged over which is better, American or foreign-made vehicles. Now there's a new twist to the debate, and this one is medical. As Dr. Dina Dell points out tonight, the condition of your back may be related to the make of your car. Here's his report.
A lot of automobile manufacturers tout the ability of their product to take tight curves at high speeds. But there's one type of curve that every car should treat softly. It's the curve of your lower back, the lumbar curve. Research at Columbia University found that the type of car you drive can relate to low back pain, even slipped discs. The research showed that motorists who drove American cars faced 3 times the risk of developing lower back problems than drivers who own Swedish or Japanese makes. Even 2-car families, with, for example, 1 domestic and 1 Japanese car, faced almost twice the risk of developing back problems. Why? Well, seats in Swedish and Japanese cars are more likely to be designed with better lumbar supports and often offer adjustable lumbar supports. Now, don't sell your American car just yet, because you can buy special support pillows to help. Now, seats with greater flexibility and with varied positions also can prevent back problems. Now, American cars are catching up, and if you're in the market for a new car, these are options worth considering. So in addition to kicking the tires, you want to check that seat. Now, if you really want to take care of your back right, get yourself into one of these Porsche sports cars. It's got an electrically powered, inflatable lumbar support. Not only does it move in and out, it moves up and down. Maybe talk to your doctor. He or she'll write your prescription for it. Better yet, maybe your medical insurance will pay for it. Let me know if that works. I'm Dr. Dina Dell.
What do they go for, about $50,000? No problem. Here now is the Wall Street Business Report on today's markets and economic trends. November turned out to be a very good month for the nation's retailers. Sales were up 0.5% last month after falling 5.2% in October, the biggest decline ever recorded. The November sales picture would have been even brighter had it not been for a nearly 1% drop in auto sales. In other business news today, Delta Airlines has now won final governmental approval for its purchase of Western Airlines. The $860 million merger creates the country's fourth largest air carrier. Hollis?
Checking the markets now. Profit-taking took hold on Wall Street today, and the stock market ended up losing nearly half of yesterday's gain. The Dow Industrial saw a decline of 9 points in active trading. The Amex finished the day nearly 2 points lower in heavy trading. On bullion markets, the price of gold was mixed. The precious metal closed higher in New York after giving up some ground overseas. The dollar also was mixed on world money markets. Truck and rail bids for grain in Chicago. Wheat dropped 3 1/2 points. Corn fell 2 cents. Soybeans were off 5 cents an average per bushel price. Average Midwest slaughter livestock prices. Cattle sold steady to $1 higher. Hogs sold steady to $1 lower. And that wraps it up for Thursday's business report.
The perennial burning question, what is a Billiken? Who cares when they're playing like this?
Exactly. Good point. It doesn't matter because right now they're one of the hotter basketball teams in the country. That's our way of telling you. We've got highlights from Kiel tonight. We'll show them to you when we come back.
The Billikens were burning up the boards down at Kiel tonight.
You know, I guess some people are wondering, are they for real this year or is this a fluke?
We will know when they start playing some better competition, but apparently this is a very good basketball team, and we'll show you some of them right now. The undefeated Billiken basketball team played host to Western Illinois at Kiel tonight. Let's go down to the court and have a look at what happened out there. The Billikens could do very little wrong tonight. Mimlitz with a steal on to Roeder, who goes inside for the layup for the Bills. Ted Mimlitz very hot tonight, hitting from all over the place from outside this time for St. Louis. You'll get a look at Rich Grauer, who's doing a great job for the Billikens, of course, on the sidelines. Western Illinois did score tonight inside. Jeff Klinger from the top of the key hits one. That guy can play a little bit. Then we'll go on. Roeder to Roland Gray inside, hits one for the Bills. And then as you get a look at a pretty good crowd out there tonight, not as good as we'd like to see yet. Mimlitz on the fast break. They're all night for St. Louis, winning it easily. The Bills now 7-0. Their best start since 1951, if you can believe it. The final score, the Billikens 103, Western Illinois just 75. Well, as the baseball meetings broke up in Florida tonight, the rich got richer. The world champion Mets have acquired slugging outfielder Kevin McReynolds from the Padres. Now, San Diego will get outfielder Kevin Mitchell and 2 minor league pitchers. Believe me, McReynolds sure would look good in a Cardinal uniform, but not anymore. Okay, now the Blues are back from a 500 road trip. They lost 6-2 in Hartford last night, breaking a 3-game winning streak. However, today, Blues head coach Jacques Martin told me that despite the Whaler game, his team is playing well.
I'm pleased. I felt that last week with our win in Buffalo and Toronto on Sunday, gave us a 500 record for the week. Then we took a win in Quebec and then lost to Hartford, so we're at 500 with our home game Saturday night against the Blackhawks. So I think we're in good shape, and we should make it 2 wins this week with a win over the Hawks on Saturday night.
Okay, Jacques, now the Blues and Blackhawks game once again is not quite a sellout yet for Saturday night, but I'm told if you want some tickets, better get down there. Elsewhere tonight in the NHL, this is the Islanders at New Jersey. 4:51 of the first, Loisel for the Devils will make it 1-0 for New Jersey. Let's move on to 5:30, the initial frame. Mike Bossy comes up with his 20th goal of the campaign, having another good one. This ties it for the Islanders at 1-1. Then at 13:53 of the first, Mike Bossy once again. This is goal 21 for the season, as the Islanders will take a 2-1 lead. Easy game tonight for the New York Islanders. A final in. New York beating New Jersey 7-3. Elsewhere, Boston over Vancouver in the third. Montreal has beaten the Rangers. Minnesota over Detroit, and Philadelphia 5 at Calgary 3. That is a final. Tim Witherspoon weighed in at 233.5 pounds today for his WBA heavyweight title fight. He'll be taking on James Bone Crusher Smith in New York tomorrow night. Witherspoon, you might recall, was supposed to fight Tony Tubbs, who backed out last week. Fight's kind of a joke in any case. Now, one of the few bright spots in the football Cardinals season has been, of course, the play of veteran wide receiver J.T. Smith. He's caught 72 passes so far and may go to the Pro Bowl. Bob Ramsey has this profile.
John Thomas Smith is a 9-year NFL veteran who earned his way through most of his career as a premier punt returner, 4th all-time in yardage. But in his second season with the Big Red, J.T. Smith is showing that he's one of the very best pass catchers in the league on a team that's one of the worst.
Due to everything I went through and a lot of guys that went down, that means I had to work a little harder. So, yeah, I feel better for myself, but not for the team.
The stats say JT is 5th in the league with 71 catches for almost 13 yards per grab and 6 touchdowns. It's the kind of year that calls for a Pro Bowl selection, and that has special meaning for JT Smith.
That means that you got respect from your coaches and your fellow players in the NFL, and they're thank you worthy of going and being with the elite group, and that I had a good year.
Bob Ramsey, NewsWatch Sports.
Okay, good guy, J.T. Smith. Turning to soccer, the Steamers go back to work tomorrow night. They'll be playing host to Ricky Davis. You might remember him. At the New York Express at the Arena, the Steamers are 2-6 and need a victory. Kickoff is 7:35. And the double at Fairmount Park tonight was number 1, Berna's Radar, number 2, Bobo Encore, and 1-2 paid $255. That's sports. Back to Don and Hollis.
Any relation to Bobo Brazil?
But we'll look into it.
Okay, John.
Thanks a lot, John. 3 friends join forces for a little fun. We'll explain all that when we come back. In tonight's entertainment news, a new movie starring 3 wacky, zany comedians is opening this weekend in our area. It's called Three Amigos, and they are Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short. The movie had its premiere in New York this week. One thing is certain, get those 3 amigos together and you're sure to generate mucho fun. Fritz Mayer has the story.
Weird guys, the Tres Amigos. One more thing tonight. With the flick of a switch, an 8-year-old fatherless boy from Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Maryland lit the national Christmas tree outside the White House tonight. But he had some help from President Reagan. And that ceremony they participated in tonight dates all the way back to the days of President Calvin Coolidge. The national Christmas tree lit tonight.
Well, I believe there were umbrellas up in Washington today. That's right. We didn't have to have them here, and it doesn't look like we're going to have umbrellas in the near future.
You're absolutely right. Increasing cloudiness tonight with the overnight low of 25 degrees. Tomorrow, partly sunny day with the daytime high in the mid-30s and the low again in the mid-20s, but no rain.
All right. Thanks a lot, Christine.
Well, that sounds like a winner. On that note, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for letting all of us be a part of your evening.
We'll be back again tomorrow night. We certainly hope you will be too. Good night.
Bye now.